Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're talking about the future of toxic attraction. Now, spoiler alert, if you've seen at the time of this taping yesterday's NXT show, you will have seen that toxic attraction is no longer a thing. Jacy Jayne turned on Gigi Dolin. All great teams usually come to an end. The Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the Midnight Express, the British Bulldogs, Demolition, all at some point broke up. Now, the reason for this video is the way the breakup happened. It happened on Bayley's Ding Dong Hello talk show there on NXT. She had both the members of Toxic Attraction, Jacy Jayne and Gigi Dolin, out there, and this was almost beat for beat, word for word, very similar to another historic tag team breakup from way back in 1991 when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty to break the Rockers up and go on their separate paths. Now, from that point on, Shawn Michaels went on to have a legendary career. Marty Jannetty, while successful at first, ended up being an adjective for the other member of a team. When teams break up, there's usually one that goes on to be a star, one not so much. When that happens, they're called the Jannetty of the team. Kind of a cruel thing to have an adjective like that named after you, but it's kind of apropos. And from the way it was played out here, you could say Gigi Dolin played the role of Marty Jannetty in this. Even with it being that on the nose, I don't think it's going to play out exactly the same. First off, unlike Marty Jannetty, there are no reports anywhere that Gigi Dolin has any backstage issues, has any off-the-screen issues. She seems to get along pretty well with the roster, and I think there'd be stuff that would come out if she didn't. Secondly, I honestly thought out of Toxic Attraction, even with Mandy there, Mandy I think is fantastic as well. I think all three of them are fantastic. To me, Gigi Dolin had the most star potential coming out of the three. Now, some of that could be that I followed her career on the indies. Some of it could be that she's a woman that I find extremely attractive. Yes, there is some of that into that. But it's not like we're talking about two sacks of potatoes with her. Jacy Jayne and Mandy Rose are both beautiful women as well. I kind of always thought that Jacy Jayne was the third fiddle, and not that that's a bad thing. Like I said, they're three fantastic talents. If you go back, I put them on my list of top tag teams of the year. Jacy and Gigi. I kind of think this was more of a jump start for Jacy Jayne, to give her that thing that pushes her away from Toxic Attraction and gives her something different. Whereas I don't think that Gigi Dolin needs that much of a repackaging. You could keep her basically the way she is, and she's going to be a face and the fans are going to go crazy for her. Giving Jacy Jayne that little bit of a difference, that little bit of a hard edge, that little bit of an asshole mentality is going to help her immensely. One of the things that's super obvious to anybody that's watched WWE over the last decade or so, very rarely do you have a team that comes up through the ranks of NXT and stays a team on the main roster. Usually it's some team that's thrown together on the main roster, like the Brawling Brutes, or even the New Day. Teams like American Alpha, Enzo and Cass, and the Revival, FTR, are more the outliers. It's more often you're going to see when they go up to the roster, they find something else for them to do, and they won't necessarily be that same team. So I could see, especially with the way the women's tag team division is booked, there's not been a team that's been a team since the Iconics that have really wrestled on that division in the main roster. It's more been a pairing of two solo superstars. So this could be Triple H and Shawn Michaels looking at this and going, what gives these two women their best opportunity? Let's split them up. Let's make them different talents. That way, when they go onto the main roster, whether it's Triple H or whether Vince McMahon has any say in this situation, you're going to see them in a positive light. I know that the thumbnail has the salacious title to get clickbait, and I get it. I did it for that reason. I knew you would click on this. But I really don't think that Gigi Dolin is going to be a Marty Jannetty. I don't think she's going to be someone that we forget. Her talents, her charisma, her wrestling ability, her look, her style is going to set her apart, and she's just enough different that I don't think that that same thing's going to happen to her. I don't think she's going to become basically irrelevant. The one more thing that I did want to bring up before I close this down, and this is for for all of my people that are around my age, this is going to make you feel really old. The original barbershop window with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty happened December 2nd, 1991. J.C. Jane was born June 2nd, 1996. Gigi Dolin was born June 5th, 1997. So they were both born 5 years or more after the barbershop window incident that they basically recreated with this incident. Makes you feel old a little bit, doesn't it? And here's something that makes me even feel older. Both of these women were born after I graduated high school. So yeah, I feel like a dirty, crusty old man at this point. With all that being said, I don't think JC Jane or Gigi Dolin is going to go on to be the Marty Jannetty of the group. I think they're both going to be pretty successful. If I were going to lay a bet on it, I'd probably say Gigi Dolin would be more successful. In my opinion, to me, she's the one I gravitate towards more. But who knows what's going to happen in 5 years. In 5 years, I could look back at this video and say how wrong I was that Gigi Dolin flamed out in 2 months and JC Jane is the best woman's talent they've ever had. With all that being said, if you made it here to the end, let's smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, share the video, and let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to be the bigger star? Is it going to be JC Jane? Is it going to be Gigi Dolin? Are neither one of them going to be a star? Are both of them going to be a star? Let me know what you think down here in the comments. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been another Heel Heat.